Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another video. This one's going to be hopefully a quick one. I know I say that every time and it ends up being, a 15 to 20 minute video. My apologies for that, by the way. But this one's going to be a comparison between a legit, real Marvel Legends FANG FOOM Build-A-Figure and a KO or knockoff bootleg, whatever you want to call it. So here on the right, that is the KO FANG FOOM that I've had for a year, almost 2 years probably, because I got it, when they had, shortly after they had first popped up on eBay. I got it for $124 shipped from China. I knew it was a KO, but I thought, that's a great deal because the Build-A-Figure is going $300+. Fast forward to now, I just got that in the mail today. It is the real legit FANG FOOM Build-A-Figure that I still need to finish putting together. The seller never even put it together. But that 15% off eBay coupon was available, and I thought now is the time to save myself some money because it was $300, 15% off, save $45. Buy it now, free shipping. Great deal. I just couldn't pass up. So here I'm going to put together the FANG FOOM, and then we're going to have a side-by-side comparison. It'll mostly be kind of zoomed in looks on kind of what the differences are between the real and the knockoff. So here, let's get in a little bit closer and look at some of these pieces as I just kind of put them together. So where do I begin? Let's start with the tail. So that's just going to plug in there, and it snaps in quite nice, and it's got good ratcheting in there, so that's already better than the KO that I have. Not that my KO is bad, it's not, but that's definitely a difference there. Let's match up the greens here on the tail. Just gonna pop that in there. That's not on there nice and tight, so that is good. Wait a second, there we go. That's why it didn't line up. Okay, so the tail goes that way. Here for the neck, we're gonna plug that right in, and then the head is on a ball joint even still for the size of the Build-A-Figure. Pop that on, and then we'll get the wings. Let's see, and the wings are gonna go like that. So we have the left wing pops in there, right wing, it's gonna pop right in there as well. So there it is, real FANG FOOM KO FANG FOOM. Awesome. So really cool. So the first things definitely are that the KO is a lot looser. So these joints are nice and tight. Good ratcheting still within the joints. This one is not so much, and it's mainly just the tail that's loose. It kind of swivels around, but once you have it standing in display, it's really not an issue at all. There's some minor paint differences in the wash. The colors look very, very similar, and I think there's some differences in the head, and we'll look at that close up. That'll be some of the zoomed in stuff that we look at. But the big thing is just going to be in the wash of the figure in the different areas of the green. So let's get zoomed in on some of those specific details. Okay guys, starting from kind of the bottom up, the first thing that's noticeable, you'll notice that the claws or the toenails on the one on the right are a little bit darker than the one on the left. This is the KO, this is the legit, the real one. So it's definitely a little bit of a darker yellowish tan color, and it seems like it's just more of a wash. So that wash throughout the entire figure is definitely a little bit heavier on the KO versus the real one. And then you'll also notice the greens look different because this one's a little bit darker because they used definitely a heavier wash on the one on the right. But on top of that, it has a little bit of a shinier paint coat on it compared to the one on the left, the real one. So you could see how the light is bouncing off of the plastic of this one. You could see the glare throughout, and on this one you really don't see it because it's definitely more matted on the real one. So let's take a look at some other noticeable differences. Okay, here's another noticeable difference. It's actually probably pretty hard to tell based on the lighting, but here on the abs of the torso, There's actually less wash here, so it looks like the green is brighter compared to the real one on the left, which definitely has a lot more wash in those abs. So the wash is heavier kind of in the darker green sections, but the lighter green sections actually seems to be less on the KO, or at least in the torso. And then the same goes for up here as well compared to this side. So a little bit of a difference. It actually looks to be a little bit of some paint imperfections on the KO up here as well. But other than that, again, mold and everything is the same, and then you could definitely see that the more shine on the KO versus the matte of the regular one. So let's take a look at some other differences. Okay, here's something else that I noticed. The wings, definitely a lighter green throughout the membrane of the wings here compared to the darkness of the KO on the right. So there's another difference to tell as well. And then there's definitely a heavier wash throughout the scaled portion of the wing versus the regular one. Okay, now looking at the heads, you'll see the one on the right, again, this is the KO. We have the legit one here, so you can see much more wash effect throughout the lighter green. And then again, it is shiny compared to matte, and I know I've said that a bunch of times. But that's one of the big differences. Now, the horns as well. The horns on the real one don't curve. The horns on the KO do not curve as much as the real one. So I've noticed that in a lot of pictures as well. And there are different shades of this tan color, so they are a little bit darker on the KO, and then not as curved. So these ones really curve back. These ones not so much. They go more up and then a little slight curve towards the end. So there's another way to tell. But again, the main thing is the matte finish versus the shiny finish. That is the biggest thing there. The eyes, I know it's hard to see on here, but the eyes of the KO look a little bit more hand painted, whereas the one on the legit, I would say definitely looks like a little bit more machine painted. The teeth, there is more black paint in between and in the gums, in between the teeth and then the gums of the real one versus the KO. It's not that big of a difference, but that is something that I noticed. So if you ever have the opportunity to pick one of these up and you need to know if it's real or if it's not, that's one of the signs that I can kind of see there. A couple of other things are in the joint, so we'll take a look at that before we finish off this video. Okay, here's a zoomed in look at the shoulder joint of the KO. You can see the real dark wash there and how it just kind of comes along into that section. Now that section is not really painted because that's where all the movement and everything's going to be. So I guess maybe to avoid any kind of paint rub perhaps, it was never planned to kind of paint through there. But looking at the real one, you could see a lot less wash throughout that section. Now, we do still get that section where it's not painted, but it's definitely kind of a clear-cut dividing line there, whereas on the KO, it wasn't so much of a line, it just kind of curved around. So I think a big difference is, you know, probably hand-painted versus machine-painted is kind of the idea that I'm getting here. And looking at it. And then that's going to be the same for the hip joints as well. So definitely a heavier wash right along those hip joints compared to the real one. But that's it. That's the KO. That's the FANG FOOM KO versus the legit one. If you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up if you guys like the video. And as always, thank you for watching. But here's your final look at the two different FANG FOOMs. So the horns, you can really see the difference between the side-by-side look, the curved and then kind of more straight up. Matte versus shiny. And then horns and toenails, slightly darker tan color. But other than that, it's the same. Tight joints versus loose joints as well. There it is, guys. Again, any questions, let me know. Hit me up in the comments below. Thanks for watching.